Action-packed first quarter under the roof at Etihad to kick off the round on a Friday night. Sydney 3-3-21 thanks to Parker, Papley and Sinclair. Essendon 2-3-15 thanks to Zaharakis and Tipper. The busiest man here, though, has been on the boundary, Bob Jane Timas. JZ.
Yes, hello, Howie. Just recapping earlier, Essendon defender Matty D almost certainly done for the night with concussion, fell awkwardly and heavily in a marking contest earlier and was taken from the ground. So Matty D almost certainly done with a concussion. Hey, fellas, the great thing about sitting behind the Essendon players bench is that the coach's messages flash up on a screen right in front of us. And I can tell you what Johnny Worsfeld's saying to the boys right now. He's saying inside the contest we are beating them, going well in the on-ball in the engine room. He says the tackle rate, however, is low. He wants to lift with their tackling pressure and defensive pressure. He says Sydney is playing a +1 in defence, so when we go forward, can we go wider? He wants to avoid the +1 in defence.
Well done, Jay-Z. We invited the gentleman from next door who's calling it in Hindi tonight, and he gave us a little dummy call to us. This is a little bit of his action from the first quarter.
फ्री किक जो एसेंडन को मिल गई, वहाँ पे डायसन हैपल के पास बॉल है, वो बॉल उन्होंने आगे अपने खिलाड़ी को पास ऑन की है, बॉल लेके जाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। ये आदम साहब बहुत ही तेज़ी के लिए जाने जाते हैं और बॉल निकालने की कोशिश उनकी, लेकिन वहाँ पे चूक गए मार्क लेने में। लेकिन कमाल कर रहा है, एक तरफ सिडनी गलती कर रही है तो दूसरी तरफ साथ ही एसेंडन गलती कर रहा है, दोनों ही टीमें।
There you go. Nice bit of work from next door. You got Nate Brown and Chris Judd in at the back row. Triple M C-Bus Super Specials.
Made more sense than you two.
Really enjoyed his own gag there, Nate, didn't he?
He's like the duck, just keeps laughing at his own work.
Got a good one away there, Nate. Loved it.
That's your Triple M C-Bus Supers, is it? That's your analysis of what you saw.
The bounce is about to take place now.
All right, let's get the second quarter underway. The Sydney Swans enjoy a 6-point lead here at Etihad Stadium. It's round 19. This game means a lot to both sides. Kennedy grabbed possession, picked up by Langford, socket off the ground by Bellchambers, ricocheted back to Georgie Hewitt. Now Kennedy, so a lot of hands on that. Oh, Goddard, he's been barreled into by McCartan, and he's copped a few tonight, Juddy. He looks a bit sore, BJ.
Yeah, it's always the way. You get one and you're a little bit sore. You just seem to keep getting for the rest of the game. So
Not sure it was a free
it was
kick,
a free kick at all. No, it was just a good, strong contest.
Heppel down towards Tip and Woody. Just the attack side of the square. McGrath can't get a handle on it. The Bombers will retake possession again through Heppel. He spreads it wide to Guelphy, who had an ankle issue, but he's back out there. Clever little kick round the corner. A little bit too much on it for Zach Merritt. Falls over the top of Rampy. Merritt comes again. And a third time, Zach Merritt. Good persistence, but his handball goes straight to the Swans.
In the direction of Goddard again, this kick out. Picked up, though, by Guelphy. His boot's gone 25 metres. The ball went 30. Aaliyah down there has been impressive. Nearly took the mark, picked up and farmed out to Langford. Bends it around to the pocket, leading the race. Lloyd, McDonald, Tim and Woody. Oh, brilliant tackle. Almost could have been rewarded. Sliding in down there, Bagley. We're 30 metres out from the Bomber goal. And a free kick has been paid, and it's going Sydney's way, saying that Bagley dragged it back under. Nick Smith rewarded.
An interesting one, just checking the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay. Nick Smith was actually sitting on that ball in the end, so not sure about that call from the umpire.
Playing game 209, Nick Smith, as his ball was punched across the boundary line. Defensive flank, City side. Sydney 3-3-21, Essendon 2-3-15, and Triple M Ream scoreboard. Built Aussie tough. And with the latest technology when it comes to water heating, install a ream. Umpire resets the situation. Hayward working in his defensive area towards Florent. He hand passes back to Hayward. Nice little couple of steps, gets away from one player and then drops the ball as he's tackled. And it's a free kick to the Bombers on the outer side.
Goal Langford, the man. He's about 60 metres out, so he's going to look for a target here. Swans always adept at getting a lot of numbers back. And the man in the way, Aaliyah. So impressive. Spent a lot of time in the NEFL this year just learning his craft, Brownie, but you would think you just have to be able to teach him with his skill set to be a good player.
Long time in the NEFL, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, he burst on the scene 2 years ago. He was doing this very thing 2 years ago, and they've made him earn it.
Could he play on the wing, Brownie?
I think he could, but at the moment, 3 intercept marks so far, Chu.
Spot on, Brownie.
He's got involved in this chain of play as well.
One of the most important parts of the game right now is the intercept mark. The ability for a player to leave their man, to read the footy, but again, to be able to mark it rather than fist it, so you're sending it back the other way is important.
Lear's kick down the line, slapped forward by Hayward, out of wing. Rock picked it up, and he got a push in the back from Sard, so free kick to the Swans, outer side wing.
Ronk has it. AFL logo. Number 25. He saw kick 7 against the Hawks on a Friday night. Explode onto the scene. That's a good mark taken by Cale Hooker. On the outer side, in defence. It's Buddy's number so far, Chew.
Buddy Franklin for Bosch Tools, Howie. Only 1 kick and scoreless.
Guelphy, half back for the Bombers, back to Langford. Goddard has been busy, Chew man.
Yeah, he's racked up 9 touches.
Zaharakis, where early stage of the second quarter here, Alir been very prolific at half-back, got rid of his man Bagley. Swans now got to think their way through this. Not a good kick here. Stringer been very quiet so far. Picked it up, chipped it inboard, and Darcy Parish finds himself in good position here, directly in front of goal. He's going to have to kick it about 45 metres.
Great kick by Jake Stringer. I was thinking to myself, Essendon needed to change the angle going inside their forward 50 because Sydney kept rebounding it. But one thing, if you keep playing up and down the same line, when they do rebound from your forward 50, it's easier to defend it. And that's what happened there, and Essendon got the repeat forward 50 entry through Jake Stringer.
Pick 5 in the 2015 draft. Darcy Parish, 51st game. He's a great little competitor. And a beautiful kick straight over the goal umpire's hat. Bombers level this one up. It is 21 apiece on the Triple M Ream scoreboard.
Judge, it feels to me the scores are level at the moment, 21 apiece, as Dar said, but it feels like Essendon are owning this game at the moment. Probably should be further in front. They clearly look the better side. They're moving the ball much better, but just not quite getting on the scoreboard at the moment.
It just doesn't feel like they're able to hold Sydney up either. I reckon you can contrast the two teams. In the first quarter, and George Hewitt got tackled. Rather than hand the ball out into space, he held it in and was prepared to take the holding the ball call. You contrast that with Essendon. When Devon Smith got tackled, he was just prepared to bang the ball into space. Essendon play a lot more attacking style of play. And we'll see how that pans out for the rest of the game.
Seen a shot of Dante Exum in the crowd, who just signed a $45 million contract in the NBA. Sitting next to a chap in a singlet. Boy, has made a jumper. The Aussies continue to dominate the NBA inside 50 ball. Alir, what a mark that is. That is a ripping mark in defence, surrounded by 3 Bombers. He's come a bit lame. Geez, that was a good mark. He's got a hobble up, though. Jay-Z will be having a look at that one as the Swans transition it across their defensive flank, now down the line. Bob Jane T-March, Jay-Z.
Struggling on the left side, just holding his kneecap. I'll keep watching it, Howie.
Parker sends the ball forward. Well done by Sard. Comes to Sinclair, puts it into the middle. And that's a good mark taken by McCartan. Wants to play on, he did play on, he's got to go now. By hand to Dawson from 50. Misses as Alir limps off Essendon. A 3-4-20, 3-3-21, Sydney 3-4-22. Alir, Jay-Z, Bob Jane T-Marts.
Straight to the bench, Howie, and looking sore on that left side, grabbing his left kneecap as he's talking to the doctors now.
Thank you, Jay-Z. For Bob Jane T-Marts, we'll come back to you with an update as soon as you can get one. Bombers at half-back now, McGrath, Zach Merritt, Heppel combined. Big Dyson, the skipper, sends it down the line, looking for Stringer. Over his head, McDonald. Tippin Woody couldn't quite pick it up front and centre. Zach Jones attacked it ferociously, as he often does. Awkward footy down there. O'Riordan for the Swans. They pile in on top. Umpire lets this go for an eternity. In the end, he was right because Myers got the kick. Jackie Stringer gets gang tackled by a couple, and umpire eventually says, give it to me. 70 round from the Bombers' Fletcher end, Footscray Road end of Etihad Stadium. Alir heads straight down underneath with a big limp up, walks straight past the AFL CEO down there, Howie.
A big loss. Hopefully he can come back on the ground. As Chewy said, he was just taking intercept mark after intercept mark, Chewy.
4 intercept marks already.
That last one was his best one. It was an absolute corker. As Isaac Heaney comes back out onto the ground. Essendon 21, Sydney 22.
Heppel's had 13 disposals, 100% by foot so far for Dyson Heppel.
It's your Triple M Seabus Super special comments. Seabus Super with insurances to protect building construction workers. You've got Nate Brown and Chris Judd, the A-team, as we like to call them, on a Friday night. And now Heppel takes the ball across the line as Joey Kennedy comes onto the ground.
So we're going to have a boundary throw in. We have played 7 minutes and 50 seconds in the second quarter. A 1 point lead to the Sydney Swans. 22 plays 21. Isaac Heaney trying to pick it up in front of Kyle Langford. Langford applied a very nice tackle on him, and that will be thrown up again. Still 2 kicks from home for the Bombers. Pretty evenly poised, Juddy, this game.
It is. You just feel that Alir injury could be really deciding factor at the minute. He's been a dominant force there with those intercept marks, so that could play a huge role in who gets on top in this game.
Bit of drama in this game. If you just joined us on Triple M Footy, Matty D, really bad concussion. Smashed his head into the ground. He's taken off and will take no further part. Zach Jones reported for a strike to Zach Merritt's face before the first bounce. Buddy Franklin looks a little lame. And as Juddy said, Aaliyah is down in the room. So some drama. Luke Parker attacks the footy hard. Langford picked it up. Zach Merritt bursting away with the ball. Centering kick. Dangerous ball. Mitch Brown well done defensively. Grundy under some pressure. Chance for the Bombers. Myers flicks it back out. Backley should kick the goal. 20 metres out, he does. Couple in a row to the Bombers. And they get the lead back by 5 points. 27-22. Triple M Room scoreboard.
Judge, I think when we watched Sydney earlier on in the year, you made the comment that you thought Heath Grundy had slowed down a little bit, and we've seen it a couple of times. And on that occasion, he brought the ball to ground level, but just his reaction to be able to get the handball out to a teammate, just that half a second slow at the moment, Heath Grundy, and it's cost him a couple of times.
Yeah, I wasn't all that surprised that he did play in the near full last week. I think he slowed down a little bit this year, and his form's been patchy. The one thing that will help him out, though, is when Alir is in that defensive 50, because Heath Grundy can play the lockdown role, and he can get a bit of chop out with Alir's intercept mark. So that occasion, you're right, he still brought the ball to ground, but just wasn't quick enough to get rid of it.
The Bombers only 11 tackles in the first quarter, as Jay-Z said. They've laid 11 inside 9 minutes already in this term.
That's Triple M Bosch Tools, Stats, Bosch Power Tools and Accessories. Good better Bosch. That's just a little special from Chewy. As Tip Woody gets a free kick, goes to McKenna. Just inside the square, Hurley and Franklin come off. Hurley winning that battle so far. Inside 50 ball. Brown flew hard at the mark. There's a swan down. Could be Cunningham. Now comes out to Rampy. He sends it down the wing and it goes across the line. It is Cunningham. Bob Jane T-Marts, Jay-Z Clark.
Boys, Essendon player Jackie Stringer has just gone down the race with a doctor. Maybe a right shoulder injury. He's just come out now. He went down with the doctor for a brief assessment. And Lance Franklin back on the bench for the Swans.
So that kick from Francis was superb. It just bounced off the chest of his teammate. And now, as the Swans cleared it out, they kicked it straight back to Aaron Francis. Took some personal leave with mental health issues this year. He was very good in the VFL last week. Good to have him back. And his kick has found the big man, Tom Bell-Chambers.
They're more than happy to go long down the line now, the Bombers. You think back to the first 8 rounds of the season, they'd chip it backwards, they'd kick the ball 20 metres backwards, sideways to players who couldn't play on, and that was the way they got themselves in trouble. Now, they very rarely look backwards, they very rarely go sideways. They want to move the ball forward to a player who can play on, or B, a long option down the line, and they back their players in to mark the footy. Just
had a good look at the Chemist Warehouse replay screen. Harry Cunningham's coming off, and I reckon he's got some pretty severely bruised ribs at best. At worst, there might be cracked. Bell-Chambers' shot misses to the near side. He's in a really bad way, Harry Cunningham, coming off the ground. We'll check in with Jay-Z Clark in a moment. 28 plays 22. 6-point lead to the Bombers.
What are the inside 50 numbers this quarter, Ash?
Absolute smashing, Brownie. 10-1 Essendon's way.
Jay-Z?
Yeah, spot on, Duke. They're just checking his ribs on the right side and his lungs. Looks a sore boy, Harry Cunningham.
Parrish inside 50 ball, but floating across the pack is Heaney. Noticed as Bell-Chambers lined up for that last goal, he's got half a mattress on his right leg to protect himself in the ruck contest. And looks like Harry Cunningham's very sore, as Jay-Z said. He's going down the rooms. Big fly and a good grab taken on the wing.
Geez, good overhead, Parker.
It is Luke Parker. A bit slow to get up in front of Sard. Essendon 4-4-28. They've kicked the last 2. And the only 2 of the term through Parrish and Bagley. They lead the Swans by a goal with 12.5 gone in the second term.
Papley centering ball finds Fox. The AFL logo, Medallion Club wing side, goes back to Lloyd. Kick to Smith. Now they've transferred it all the way out to the City side to Zach Jones. And he's getting a few boos reported for a strike. Zach Jones. They don't forget the Bombers fans. Short to Grundy. And I can understand why they're doing that about that kick from Grundy. Absolute helicopter. Ramby looks at it and says, "You're kidding, mate. You seriously can't have kicked that to me." McDonald Tip Woody got it off him. Now Zaharakis. Through comes Francis. Good play, the Bombers. 1-2. Francis worked with McDonald Tip Woody on the non-preferred left. Big Reg Grundy read it well. Takes a good mark and half back.
Number 39 for the Swans. What a player he's been, playing game 253, if you don't mind, tonight. The Swans just short the ball. They find Dawson. Jordan Dawson, the number 34 from Robe. Nice part of the world, Robe, Dars.
Alir back on the field too, Dars, so that's a pretty important one for the Swans.
It's a good result. Went to school. A lot of lads from Robe. Beautiful down there.
You and John Aloisi.
Yep. Kick marked on the wing out there by Isaac Heaney. And a Finney. Is that one of those protected zone ones,
I think he tapped it out of his hands, Duke. Just checking the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay.
That was 15. Good coming. Another 20.
Chemist Warehouse, the real house of fragrances.
So just having a look at the replay again now, and it was pretty stiff, Darcy Parish. They've just seen it on the scoreboard, the Bomber fans, and you can hear their reaction. These three-quarters dropped that, I reckon. And it's a big penalty, 50 metres. This classy young player, Isaac Heaney, can level the scores back up again, directly in front. And what a player he is. He makes no mistake. Isaac Heaney gets his first. It's 28 points apiece, Triple M Ream scoreboard, and 14.5 minutes gone in the second term.
But it wasn't a 50-metre penalty. He just came around to try and hold him back from playing on, and the ball squeezed out, and it was just an accident. I think the umpire got conned a little bit, gave him a 50-metre penalty, which results in a goal. And again, we're level, yet the Bombers have absolutely dominated. They're clearly the better side out there at the moment. How many inside 50s this quarter, Ash?
Yeah, it's 11-2, Essendon's way.
Get into Macca's for the mini Sharon footy, just $5.95 with any purchase. All square on the Triple M Ream scoreboard, 4-4 apiece. Again, we see Dante Exum. His mate's still got a singlet on. It's pretty breezy for a singlet, I would have thought, tonight. The Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay.
Got pretty big guns on him, though.
Yeah, if I had arms like that, I'd wear a singlet too, Nate. You're right. But I don't. Quite obviously. The ball goes inside 50. Alir back out there. Good to see. Now he's got problems because he's fallen on the ground. And he's done to hold the ball, I reckon. He is. And the man that applied the tackle as Alir fell to ground was Mitch Brown. Mitch Brown now can have a shot from about 35 metres out on the outer side.
They needed that one, the Essendon fans. Mitch Brown just stalked him. Alir lost his footing. He jumped on him, didn't get the ball away effectively, and you feel like if the umpires didn't call that one, Essendon fans were just about going to storm the ground and take matters into their own hands.
Mitch Brown, stuttering run up, and misses to the near side. Just almost rushed that one a bit, but the point gives the Bombers the lead, 29-28. We've got 8:18 to go before half-time on the Triple M Ream scoreboard. Built Aussie tough and with the latest technology when it comes to water heating. Install the Ream. You got one, Juddy?
Yes, I do.
Good boy.
One of the best.
Lloyd, short. Wanted Heaney. Busted out of his hands. Orazio has kicked that up the side of the boot. And Alir slides in. Right spot. Good to see that he's moving without too many dramas. Might have just had a bit of retaping, maybe a bit of pain relief on that ankle, Brownie.
Yeah, I think so. He's come back out with a strapping just below his left knee as well.
Robbie Fox in defence has the footy in hand. Something's amusing the judge back there.
No, that was
Nate
chuckling.
That wasn't me.
That was me.
What's amusing you, Howie?
Well, more the fact that said he'd had his ankle fixed up, yet he had some tape on his knee. Might allude to the fact that he hurt his knee, I reckon.
Did I say that, did I?
Yeah.
Could have been a red herring, maybe.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's what they were thinking
Sort of
about.
mind games the horse has been renowned for over
Sure,
the journey.
that's what they were thinking.
Howie's just running his own program in the front there.
Good to see he's amusing himself. That's what they used to do in the old days in country footy. If you've got a corky on one leg, you'd strap the other leg.
That's right.
Maybe not during the game, though. Ball not going anywhere on the wing.
Obviously wasn't part of Paran's repertoire.
No. Expertise in other areas, Juddy.
How many games you play for the Paran Footy Club, Howie?
Some very memorable ones. Probably got up to 70 odd, I would have thought. Ball.
Would you describe yourself as an outside player?
Yeah, Larry. Hangers, goals, no tackles. Langford, big left football inside 50. Alir goes the big punch, doesn't get a handle on it, and it goes across the boundary line for a behind. So
Across the boundary line from behind.
across the goal line from behind.
Lost his way.
He's getting a bit up in the
4-6-30.
front row, isn't it?
Swans 4-4-20 out. We did lose 3 grand finals in a row to the same team, though.
Who got there, Howie?
Zabs. Good blokes they are too, the Zabs.
Couple of point lead here to the Bombers. 7 minutes until half time.
Yeah, Das, time in the forward half this quarter, 78% to the Bombers. Their pressure rating, they're at 205. AFL average is 181. That's in this quarter.
Actually, your nightclub mate's brother used to use me as a punching bag, Juddy, to be completely honest.
Big D Russian, did he?
Yes, he did.
He's a big boy, Dan.
Yes, that's why he used me as a punching bag, Brownie.
Jake Stringer was taking a turn in the ruck. He had some dramas too, JZ. What's the latest update down there, JZ? Recap what's happened tonight.
Yeah, it's Harry Cunningham just trying to get back from those sore ribs at the moment. He's doing a fitness test and spending some time with the doctors now, so trying to get back on. Alir, sore knee, but he's back out in the field. Matty D done for the night with concussion.
And JZ, we just saw a shot of Hugh Jackman as well in the Triple M Chemist Warehouse. Who that was, Dance?
I think it was.
So Hugh Jackman's here, Dante Exman's here. Our boundary rider worth his salt at snag at least one of those gentlemen at half-time for an interview.
Probably both, I would have thought.
Probably. In the olden days it would have happened. Franklin picks it up at ground level, gives it across to Newman, gets a little bit of space inside 50, dances, weaves, has a shot. If he kicks it, it'll be a ripper!
Newman.
Nick Newman! Goal of the night. Fancy footwork. And it gives the Swans a 4-point lead. Sydney 5-4-34, Essendon 4-6-30. That's on your Triple M Ream scoreboard.
Roles are reversed then. It was Buddy Franklin who just fed the ball out in front, out into the forward line, and Newman swooped on it, and it was very Buddy-esque. I reckon he sold 3 different bits of candy there around the Essendon player who just wasn't able to focus on his hips, Brownie, and pretty solid goal in the end by Newman.
Hips don't lie, Judge. Inside 50s, 13-3 this quarter. 2 goals through to the Bombers, 2-1 to Sydney from those 3 entries.
Hips don't lie. I like
Hips
it.
don't lie.
So a couple in a row now to the Sydney Swans. They lead it by 4 points, and even though Drew Man just told us a lot of the play has been with the Bombers, a lot of the pressure acts have been with the Bombers, it is Sydney Swans who have the lead. Zach Merritt's going to hand it off to Sard. As Juddy said, if he runs, you just give him the footy. Not his best kick. Alir again, such a presence down there. We really noticed it, Juddy, when he went off to get the ankle sorted out.
He's just reading the ball so well down there. He's zoning off his player, and yeah, they looked really vulnerable in their defensive 50 when he was off the ground.
Yeah, Juddy and Brownie, Das calling it. G-Man in the stats, and Jay-Z down on the boundary on a Friday night on Triple M. Jones has got problems, needs to get rid of the footy, does now. Now Dev Smith, he's caught twice, but the second time was round the neck. If it had been a legal tackle, he would have been done for holding the ball. In fact, he has been done. So Heaney gets the free kick. He dishes it off towards Lloyd, who's kicked it down the line. Swans have got a bit of space on the outer wing now, Das.
Yeah, it's opened up for them here if they can get it through. Good to see Cunningham, who we were really worried about his ribs. He got momentarily retarded, had to go back. Through the corridor comes Sydney. Parker out wide to Rampy. Rampy sends a bullet of a kick to half forward, and Georgie Hewitt accepts it. Franklin's given a lead. You got to kick that to Bud, don't you? Would have thought. He's gone back though to Zach Jones. Rampy. Hayward couldn't quite gather the mark. Papley down there. Saab well played. And Dev Smith's away.
He's not happy, but either. He's got his hand on his hips. He's itching to just get a ball put out in front.
Fantasia bumped off the footy. Goes across the boundary line. Chew, are you telling us a stat before the game about how often the Swans go to Buddy Franklin? Or am I making that up?
Clearly the number 1 inside 50 target. They go to Buddy Franklin 136 times this year. Next in line is Hayward at only 57.
Wow.
Just on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay, Harry, they're just showing Parker run past Devon Smith there, and Devon Smith just throws his legs out in a sort of a half a trip type motion. So something the AFL look at, but I think he should be able to navigate his way through that, Brownie.
Okay. There is Dev Smith now, picking it up. He's got the old 1-2. And now he goes inboard to Dyson Heppel. Clever hand pass. And a nice little step, Pendlebury style from Heppel, created a bit of space. Alir did everything but take a 6th intercept mark, I reckon, Chewy.
Spot on.
It goes across the boundary line with the Bombers just in attack.
A lot of inside 50s at the moment, Judge, but the Bombers don't have anybody proceeding up at the footy. They don't have anyone tearing up at the ball carrier, so there's a lot of long balls, there's a lot of wide balls at the moment. Easy for Sydney to pick off at the moment, and they're genuinely picking them off. The shots that Essendon are having are from 45 and 50 metres out. They need to get the ball closer.
They need to change their angles. I don't think that's what they've been able to do in transition. Compare that to Sydney, where they've switched the ball a lot better than Essendon. That's why they're living long down the line and letting Alir dine out on high balls.
All the Essendon forwards want the ball over the back at the moment. Stringer leading back. Tippin Woody's leading back. Mitch Brown leading back towards goal. Nobody's leading up at the footy.
Seabar Super special comments. Nath Brown, Chris Judd all over it. Cunningham's kick's gone straight to the boundary line, and that might get called. I've given him the benefit of the doubt. That's why I reckon Jack Rule's become one of the most important players in the game at the moment, Brand. At that exact point, you just look up and you know you're going to get someone come straight at you every time.
Tom Hawkins as well.
Yep.
Umpire resets the game. Bell Chambers. Sinclair, who kicked an amazing goal to round out the first term with a bit of a pirouette. A lot of tackles being applied.
Inside 50s are 28-16 at the moment in favour of the Bombers, but the Sydney Swans have taken double the marks of the Bombers inside their forward 50.
Dyson Heppel, Chemist Warehouse replay screen, ended up over the fence there, and he might have got offered a beer, Dyson. Boy from country Victoria, I think he half thought about just necking it. Didn't quite happen. The Bombers, they need the next goal though. Darcy Parish sends a high ball down there. McDonald, Tippin Woody, the hope of the side for the Bombers. Off hands, awkward one to take. And it's going to be boundary thrown. It's 3 minutes, 38 seconds until half time. Have a look at Dicey here, Howie. Ends up right next to a cold frothy. Just put a little hand on the beer and thought about it.
Probably been done by the crew from Leongatha and the Parrots, where Dyson Heppel's from and where Big Ruff's from. Now towards the Latrobe Valley. Leongatha Parrots. We're green and yellow, Das. Now comes to Florent.
Down your way, Howie.
Yeah, out that way towards Terralgan. Now there's an opportunity for the Irishman O'Riordan to Papley. Nice hand pass. This is good by the Swans. They'll send it deep. All the way towards the goals. It's home. I thought it was a pass, but it was Dawson who unloaded from outside range. And he kicks his first AFL goal. And it's a fancy one of that. Nice work by the Swans. They've kicked the last three. And they lead it now 6-4-40 to Essendon 4-6-30 on your Triple M Ream scoreboard.
It's got a nice finish on him, doesn't he?
He's got plenty of penetration with that left foot, certainly. Well, I think we've spoken a lot about Essendon's dominance with their inside 50 count, but Sydney have just been able to transition the ball from one end to the other with too much ease. I don't think Essendon's loose man in defence is setting up and really giving them the cover they need. When you compare that to what Alir is doing, that's the difference in the game at the minute.
Last three goals of the game are the Sydney Swans, and closing in on half-time. They've got a 10-point lead. Well played, Heppel. Although his handball just missed. Bell Chambers through, came wrong. Joey Kennedy back the other way. Lloyd sends a long one. Inside 50. Fisted away from McCartan. Numbers back there. McGrath always runs straight. Takes it on through the corridor. Little chip out wide. McDonald Tippin Woody had a fumble. Enough speed, enough skill to get it back to McGrath. Sends a laser-like low ball. Headed for Bagley. Picked up initially down there by the Swans. Grundy. Bombers chop it off. Inside 50. Rampy back there. Hewitt. This kick's got to be good, and it is, and he finds Ollie Florent.
Just heard Jay-Z is off in the pursuit of an interview with Dante Exum at half-time. I'm not going to say you'll hear it, but our man will give it his best shot. If anyone can do it, Jay-Z can.
We'll back our man Jay-Z.
Have to be able to.
We'll be hearing from Dante.
Great name, Dante. He shorts it now, Alir. What's his night in tail chew?
He's had 8 disposals, but he's taken 7 marks, in which 5 are intercept marks.
And I reckon he's been the most exciting player on the ground as well, Das.
We could send our man the judge over there, couldn't we, for a little one-on-one style, given what he did in the pre-game?
I reckon he should just stick to his Seabar Supers at the moment.
Make a bit of sense, Duke, I would have thought.
We'll give Jay-Z a little first crack at it, but if not, we might have to go to the 2-time Brownlow medal winner. Pretty happy with his own work.
Could be our
be
man.
Surprised.
Chat with Hugh Jackman, maybe.
No, that would be nice. Langford on the wing for the Bombers. Real up and under job. That hasn't gone the required journey, so it's been play on despite being 50 metres high in the air. Fantasia slaps a handball out. Saad trying to get hold of it. Lloyd the other way. They've edged it up to about 55 out. Dev Smith takes it at full stride. Left foot bender. Oh, what a kick. That would have been a miracle. Just nicked the goalpost and a minor score. The Bombers, they are 4-7-31. They trail Sydney 6-4-40. 27 gone in the second term. Triple M Ream scoreboard.
Nick Smith takes the ball. City side, back pocket. Opening 2 goals of the term through Parrish and Bagley. Opened a nice lead for the Bombers, but now Heaney, Newman and Dawson have kicked 3 in a row for the Swans, who lead it by 9 points. Deep in the first half. Again, Aaliyah positions himself under it. Goes a little bit underneath the ball this time. Opens the door for Tip Woody. Parrish by hand to Bagley. He's already kicked 1. Boundary line wins out. As do the Swans defenders. Rampy across the line. 30 round for the Bombers goals. Two-man, Glenn Bosch Tools.
These uncontested marks, Howie.
Yes.
30-5 Sydney's way, and that folds out to Sydney's kicking efficiency going at 81%. Bombers, they're only going at 55.
Gee.
Swans by 9 points. 52 seconds until half-time. Sinclair, stringer in the ruck, chose not to compete at all. Surprisingly, Hewitt's kick fortuitously lands in the lap of Florent at half-back. We're down to 41 seconds. And Ollie Florent takes a little bit of time, and then a long ball out the Buddy direction. What's he had, 2-man the first half?
2 possessions and scoreless.
Yeah, he looks to be not travelling that well. I heard from Jay-Z that virtually hasn't trained to you now. Goddard in some space, all of a sudden runs to 50. Didn't want to have a shot at goal. McKenna, the Irishman, says, I will. Oh! That's bounced through, I reckon. He shanked it like you can't believe.
Wow.
And it bounced over the head of Rampy, who just couldn't get a handle on it. And a little wry smile from Rampy. Can't believe what happened. Let's have a look at the Chemist Warehouse replay screen. That's as lucky as it gets, Nate Brown.
It's an end-over-end tumbling punt that has bounced to the right of Rampy and then bounced back inside the goalpost, and you don't see that too often. But they needed a judge because the Bombers have done all the attacking. All of a sudden, you look up at all your effort and you know you're dominating a really good side in Sydney, but you're 10 points behind. You've had so many opportunities inside 50, and if you let them get too far or too deep into the game, and you're still playing this controlling footy but not getting on the scoreboard, you start to lose hope.
Jay-Z sitting next to Dante Exum, I believe, hoping to bring that in half-time. Well, Little Star. Inside 50 ball, only seconds on the clock. There is the siren. And it's a nice game of Friday night footy.
Come on, Howie.
What are you seeing, Judge? The free kick?
Free kick here to Brown, I believe it is, for a push in the back in that marking contest.
Well, Mitch Brown, you have to kick from 52, Brown, Dog. What do you think?
Well, he's had a couple of siders tonight and just went to the right of the post. I reckon it's definitely a free kick there from Grundy on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay screen. It'll take his very best. He's not a powerful kick.
So Mitch Brown approaches 50, kicks from 52. He's got the legs. Patched on the line. He loves it. Goal umpire signals. Sausage. What a finish to the term for the Bombers. Mitch Brown from way downtown finishes off a really entertaining first half of footy. Essendon 6-7-43. Sydney 6-4-40. A 3-point Essendon lead at half-time. Jay-Z, we'll find out how he goes with Dante Exum, NBA star next. McDonald's, Triple On, Rocks Footy.